All right, welcome everybody to Keep Your Torch Lit, and we are on Season 2, Episode 6. This is Sam.
This is Sarah.
And this is Jack. What a great episode this week, guys. Another banger, I have to say.
Did you say banger?
Yeah, it's a banger.
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know. Banger? What do you mean?
Like a banger. You're like banger.
Banger.
Like, you're saying it like banger.
Banger.
Yeah.
What do you say?
A lot of people are angry about the two boots this week, you know?
I'm angry about the
like
way
they're
you're
both
saying banger.
Yeah, so let's start with how we always start. You know, we talk about the title of the episode, Snakes or Dinner. This one was a Nicholas title, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
what?
It's the second title already. He already
Yeah.
had,
He's racking them up.
Sick one was also Nick.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And, you know,
Getting more and more savage. It's like, I don't know if he absorbed Kevin's evil energy. I mean, they did kind of have a connection. I mean, we have Nevin. Nevin is now over.
Yeah, I know.
I think a part of Kevin lives on through Nick.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Horcrux or something where you know, while they're both alive in the game, they're kind of separate, but now Kevin is like a Horcrux for Nick, and he's kind of feeding off the energy.
That's funny.
I
like that.
But in any case, this title just
makes me hungry.
Makes you hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry for some snakes, hungry for a big dinner. And you know what? I don't know about you guys. I kind of have a big appetite tonight.
Yeah, so do I, Jack.
And I don't think this appetite can be satiated by only one guest, can it?
No, I think we need at least two.
How about the two people who met a very untimely demise this week?
We lost our first females of the game.
First females
that's
of the
true.
game, yeah. Not only do we want two guests, I'm feeling like one Sarah is not enough for today.
Oh, definitely not. I think we should square the Sarah. Sarah squared.
Yeah.
All right. Let's bring them on.
Hey.
Hi everyone, Sarah A. or Mom.
What's up?
Hey.
Yay!
Hey.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this.
Aw,
Yay.
thank you
So
much.
as always, give a little update on your life. How is everything since season 2?
Yeah, so I have still been pretty involved with Survivor since then. Still talk to everybody. We all still hang out. Other than that, about to graduate, dealing with all that. Yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit involved, not so much as I was definitely in season 2. I think just mostly I was not in the best place, and Survivor was a little bit toxic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of stepped out of that a bit for 2 years, but also just getting ready to graduate. So filling in with classes, spending time with my brother because he's here now. And yeah, also just being an RA is exhausting, but a lot of work, and I love it. So that's what I've been up to.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you took the break that you needed.
Me too.
I wanted to say, Bailey, how's your relationship with Maggie? Outside of the game now.
Yeah, I mean, she was a senior when we played, and it was her, it was second semester of her senior year, so by the time it was over, she was pretty much, moving away.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess there's not really much to say. I mean, I meant what I said when I got voted out, best of luck to everybody, and, no hard feelings. So, yeah, I mean, me and Maggie haven't really, had much communication, but I wouldn't say that there's any, animosity between us either.
Okay, good to hear.
I think something that a lot of people want to know is, so you got hit by the car, correct?
Yeah.
So did you get a good look at who was driving that car? Because I think a lot of people are speculating.
So basically what happened was I was crossing the street and it turned, the crosswalk sign turned red while I was crossing, and some car just wasn't looking and just saw that it was green, and because the light changed while I was crossing, and just if I took one more step, I would have been taken out by this car. But
oh my gosh,
it just clipped me and ran over my foot. So that was why I was on the crotch. So yeah, and so she started yelling at me, and I started yelling at her, and it was a big debacle. I would say arguably worse than the Maggie debacle.
Oh my
god.
Wow.
So yeah, so then they drove away. So nothing really came of it. But yeah.
So we can confirm that Maggie was not the one driving the car.
I can confirm, yes.
We don't know if they were sent by Maggie or... I still think there could be a connection there. We might want to investigate.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into this episode.
Cops are here to arrest Jack. Let's get into what happened for Tribal Council first.
Yeah, so post-tribal, it's kind of awkward. I remember it being kind of awkward. What about you guys?
Super awkward. It was so awkward. And, like, I remember all the producers immediately being like, so if anybody wants to do a confessional right now, we're all like, yes, right now, we all want to do a confessional. I got pulled. I didn't watch the full episode, so I don't know if it got, like, shown in the episode, but I immediately got pulled aside by two producers, and they brought me into, like, a supply closet to, like, do my confessional.
No way.
I just start going, like, fuck! I just immediately start screaming in this closet, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do now. Like,
oh my God.
So yeah, I'm assuming that didn't make it in there.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know if I remember seeing that footage.
Yeah, so that happened immediately after, and then yeah, I don't remember if that was before or after we were all like standing in that circle. And then you guys, I don't know, we were talking about Kevin's idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, and then
that was so funny.
I just know that Kevin had the idol. And you see Abby just like gives you a look.
Abby's like
I didn't know what to do. Like there was no. It's not like
I know,
there was,
like
move that I could have made that would have like, saved the day. Like I was kind of like done for in that moment.
I thought you made good arguments though. Even like immediately after. You were like.
Thank you.
Yeah, like when you were talking to Abby, Lucy, and Sam, I thought you did a really good job in that conversation.
Thank you. It was like as soon as Kevin was gone, like my like brain clicked, and like I was like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do in Survivor.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have been probably better for your game had you not been connected with Kevin from the beginning. And then once Kevin is gone, you're kind of... Sarah had some words on that too.
Yeah, Sarah too.
Yeah, I guess all that Kevin energy went into Nick's Horcrux, you know?
Yeah.
Dissolved with all the Kevin energy, and you were able to just think clearly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
There was a lot of fallout, though, of Kevin being voted off. It seems like a lot of people throughout the episode were talking about the fallout.
I thought it was funny how Lucy was, like, really shook by all this. And she was like, Kevin picked me second, and then he voted me off. He didn't even vote her off. Like, he just wrote her name down.
I think she was so flustered that she, like, didn't even know what she was saying.
She, like, thought she was voted off.
I think she's out.
Maybe she thinks that if you get a vote at Tribal Council, it means you're voted off. Like, you can't even get one vote. Kevin picked me second and voted me off. But it doesn't matter, Kevin, because if you don't try to cross me, don't
try to play me. Because you got played by other people, is what she said. Yeah.
Don't play me, because you got played by other people.
Oh my God, Lucy. It's just so funny, like, watching Lucy's game, because, like, I don't really know what we all thought of Lucy. Like, I don't think, like, me and Kevin, like, had any, like, issue with Lucy at any point. It's just she just wasn't part of our plans. Like, she just wasn't part of it. Like, I don't know, watching that part where she was like, yeah, it felt kind of good to scheme this week. Like, that was, like, my favorite clip in the whole episode.
Even though it gets more and more paranoia.
Also, like, knowing Lucy now, it's so funny to watch that back, because I feel like she's so different.
I think it's one of the things is, like, all this stuff was filmed, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, we're all definitely different than we were 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us haven't changed much. Some of us have changed a lot. You know.
Yeah.
That's what happens in 2 years.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of us are still, like, hanging out with each other. So I feel like, there's definitely people that I talked with a lot more outside of the game than ever in the game. Like, even like you, Bailey, I don't think I ever had a conversation with you.
No.
Like, in the game. Yeah. So, and then, like, I feel like I know you, like, pretty well now, like, in the past 2 years since then. Like, you're coming down to visit me this week.
Oh, yeah. Bailey, you had one of my favorite lines of the episode. You were like, it's when you're calling Nick, and you're like, Ohana is close, and they're mean. Stick together.
I very much understand everybody's, like, love for Ohana and watching the show. I think like a lot of it is just like being on the receiving end of Ohana. Like it's like very perspective.
Yeah, we had some really mean people on Ohana, and like while I wanted us to just be like close and like do the game well, there were many people on Ohana that were like, no, fuck that, like I'm gonna do my own thing and like be a terrible person. And I was just like, well, I can't really do anything about that. So
yeah, I mean, you're as a mom, you're trying to keep everybody together, but sometimes your kids make you support them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most times.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Well, one more thing, a little thing on the mom thing. I don't think it was shown in the episode, but you brought us fruit snack. You brought like snacks to a lot of the challenges.
Oh yeah. I remember you brought apples.
Multiple times I brought apples.
Oh nice.
Yes.
The domino challenge. You had apples for like apple slices. Or we like lost. You're all just like sad, like standing there eating.
Oh, I remember that.
Wait, Sarah, I'm curious about what you actually thought about Kevin throughout the game / at this point. Because it's like kind of confusing to me because you were like, in this episode you seemed glad that he was gone. But then like also I felt like you wanted to work with him, so I'm just a little confused about that relationship.
Yeah, for sure. So in the beginning, I didn't really know Kevin super well or his extent of how he was playing Survivor. And that was clearly revealed to me as weeks went on. And like Daniel was second voted out. And I was just like, I'm pretty sure this is Kevin's doing. I can't trust Kevin, but like he's the only one I can really trust right now. I trusted Bree and I trusted Sam. Like those were my like kind of number 1, number 2. Maybe not like Bree as much at first, but anyways, I digress. So Kevin was like really the only person that was there because he was also the other leader. And I felt like as a leader, I had a target on my back. And also coming in and having people know that I knew Daniel put another target on my back. So I felt like I could only work with Kevin like the first couple of weeks because everyone like kind of saw me as a target and wanted me out. Also, something really petty that's really bothered me is that I accidentally messaged Noah thinking it was Jeremy. Like that was a total mistake on my behalf. I didn't ever mean to message Noah. I meant to message Jeremy because I wanted to reach out to him and see how he was doing and where he was at and if I wanted to work with him. And like everyone flipped out over that. Like, oh my god, I can't trust Sarah A because she's like,
like, except the same message. Yeah.
I remember. Wow. Honestly, like, I don't remember being that concerned about that, but like, I do think it's interesting that like your relationship with Jeremy that wasn't really shown a ton in the edit, but Jeremy mentioned it when he was on the podcast a few weeks back of like, yeah, me and Sarah Avery were like definitely tight.
Yeah.
And I feel like definitely like you and Bree and Jeremy, I could see is like you all definitely had connections like with each other, which I think is interesting and like didn't really end up going anywhere, but it was. I mean, definitely like I think episode 3 definitely saw that like how like you guys are definitely pushing for getting rid of Maggie and keeping Jeremy. Like
yeah, we actually met right before Tribal that week. Like I met with Jeremy like 10 minutes before or whatever, and he was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you know what, I'll try and advocate for you to try and get rid of Maggie, but I don't know if it's really going to do anything. And like at the end of it, I was like, I just need to be on the numbers side.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Going back to Kevin, I was glad he was gone. He was really toxic for my game. And I wanted to, like, after Kevin was gone, I wanted to start fresh and just play my game. But like clearly I didn't get a chance to do that. And almost no one trusted me after that.
I remember in the last episode, it showed like a compilation of everyone saying how the Bunny Alliance is now dead, which is definitely sad. It was sad to see, but I think that like the swap definitely killed it off, and it was really different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember in my confessional, I think Sarah G or something was like, I want you to like say the Bunny Alliance is dead.
Yeah,
I remember that too. Yeah, I think it all came down to that third week with Jeremy. Like, which is like there was a very clear division within the Bunny Alliance of you, Mom, and Bree wanting to keep Jeremy, and then like us three kind of wanting to keep Maggie. And like I feel like it probably already would have been hard to recover from that, and then like the swap added on to that just made it like impossible to really.
Yeah,
I just didn't like Maggie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had bad vibes from her from like day one, and you even said that, Sam. I remember watching that.
Yeah. Maggie, definitely like I saw her at the beginning as a loose cannon, and I was like after knowing her for like only a few days. Like I was like, but I was like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, Maggie could be a loose cannon. And as we've seen through these 6 episodes, like, sometimes she's a loose cannon. Maggie is unpredictable. You know, you never know what you're going to get. But, yeah, definitely very controversial. Either you love her or you hate her kind of thing, you know. But as far as, like, Maggie in the game, yeah, some people like Maggie in the game. Some people do not like working with Maggie in the game. You know, we definitely saw a lot of sources of conflict in this pre-merge so far.
Yeah.
I was like curious about the conversation that you had with Kevin that was like shown a little bit in the beginning of this episode, where Kevin apparently called you when he found out that like you told people about his idol. Wasn't he like really mad in that conversation?
Oh yeah, he swore at me multiple times. Like it honestly made me cry afterwards because it was that bad. He was like, I can't fucking believe you bitch. Like, why would you do that? You just completely ruined my game. It was a bad conversation, and I just like had to sit there and listen to it. Yeah, it was not good.
That's when you're like, well, Kevin, I have to study for my homework. Like, goodbye. Like,
yeah, that was good.
I had like a lot going on at that time, so
yeah,
I was done with Kevin.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That
was Survivor
not
was
great
toxic for me.
Yeah.
Also, someone that was toxic was Nick.
Oh,
we can, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's get into that. I feel like Nick kind of had a lot of screen time this episode. He had a lot of his confessionals, and he's very animated in his confessionals.
Yep. Starts with Nick's conversation on the phone with Bailey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have, like, a very good memory of, like, that particular phone call. Like, I guess my feeling on Nick is, like, I enjoyed him during the game. There wasn't really a time, like, yeah, he said a lot of things that, like, weren't nice, like, ultimately, like, but I feel like I feel like that's something that can be said about a lot of people talking about their, like, quote-unquote friends in the game. Like, that's definitely not exclusive to Nick.
Oh.
So it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, Nick was definitely very heated after he found out that Kevin was voted off.
But apparently, wasn't he saying that he didn't actually care that much? Like, he was confused why he was acting so heated when he said he could have told him to play his idol, so he clearly didn't care, like, that much.
Yeah, I guess that's something that had me confused, because I did see that part of it, and so I was like, oh, yeah, like, I guess he could have told us to, like, play Kevin's idol, but... So, I was confused as to why he seemed to care so much in the edit, like, when he didn't... It's not like he did anything, like... I was like, well, if you wanted us to play the idol correctly, like, maybe you should have told us.
I know. I don't know. I'm guessing he didn't want to meddle too much in the other tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think also Nick is, like, a very emotional person. Like, if, you know, he has a phone call with you, and if, like, he gets really, like, you were clearly, like, emotional in that phone call, and maybe it gets him, like, riled up a little bit, like, you know, I could see that kind of being one of those situations.
I feel like
actually, I don't care that much.
I feel like a lot of season 2 is pretty emotional. We had, like, pretty emotional cast.
I also feel like Nick now, though, like, this is another situation where I'm like, I can't really picture Nick doing those kind of confessionals now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely, like,
he's
2 years older.
Like,
yeah. He's a senior now.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're a senior. You mellow out. You turn into, like, Mike.
Nick is basically Mike now.
Senior, like,
he's 2 years out of college. He's still a senior to me.
Yeah. He's like the platonic ideal of a senior, I feel like.
He is. He in the episode, I love how he wore, like, the sweatshirt that said college. I'm like, of course.
That sweatshirt, yeah.
He's like an old man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Come back to Nick, though. Nick was pretty harsh in that confessional, talking about Sarah and, like, just being really upset about Sarah basically ruining Kevin's game. Which, like, I can see that, but at the same time, Kevin also ruined Sarah's game. They kind of ruined each other's game. You know, I don't know. That was kind of my impression.
Mm-hmm. As somebody who did kind of know what was going on, because obviously, like, I was working extremely closely with Kevin, and, like, I would hear stuff from him, like, I guess, like, for me, it did seem like you both tanked each other. Like, it was just a toxic alliance. Like, it felt like you guys wanted to work together. Y'all were not on the same side of things. And it just, like, really, like, I feel like y'all tanked each other's games.
Exploded.
Yeah, I was fine working with him. And then when he kept doing things behind my back, I was like, this can't go on anymore. And then I kind of just, like, tanked his.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what was fair in my mind at the time.
Yeah, I mean, You outlasted him by a little bit. But...
Yeah, because I didn't even feel like you meant to take his game. Like, and I don't even think he did either. Yeah. Like, meant to tank your game. I think Kevin was just really reckless.
Yeah.
I think he was definitely trying to tank Sarah's game. Like,
yeah,
I feel like
he did say, not to throw Sarah under the bus, but she has been telling me everything about your tribe. She's told, you wouldn't believe how much she's told us. So yeah, you can't trust Sarah.
Then, I feel like that was after something else happened, though.
That was after Sarah told us about Kevin's idol, but Kevin was not aware that
right.
That was right immediately after the swap, and I think Kevin's reasoning for throwing Sarah under the bus at the swap was to gain trust with Ohana and try to kind of like get in power on the tribe where he was in the minority.
Okay.
I think that was kind of a way for him to try to assert himself in the tribe, where actually. I don't think he realized how closely we were working with Sarah, and that the better move would have been, hey, I'm working with Sarah, you're working with Sarah, let's all work together.
Yeah.
And maybe it could have been different in that case. Yeah. Like, well, Maggie and Lucy don't care about Sarah Avery. Like,
I think Kevin just doesn't see, like, I feel like he only ever sees the benefit in moves that hurt somebody else. Like, and that's, like, where his, like, mind always goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree. I think, like, by telling you guys that Kevin had an idol, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, Kevin has an idol. I know we're swapping. Like, let's see if we can come out of this on top with the numbers. Because I knew also, like, because of the swap, like, Bailey was going to be a part of this now. So I wanted us to go forward with that if we could. But then after Kevin found out and was, like, really upset, I was like, okay, never mind. Like, go ahead, blindside Kevin. I don't know. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It seemed like we kind of maybe confused. There was a meeting with Nick, Mallory, and Mike. They were trying to figure out, like, the dynamics of Ohana, and they seemed to be kind of confused. I think Mike was pretending because I had told him what the dynamics were. But, like, Nick and Mallory seemed a little confused. I don't know, Bailey, what were your thoughts on the dynamics of Ohana?
Oh, yeah, we were all super confused. And I think what confused us was the week 3 vote.
Yeah.
Because I think it was very obvious from the get-go that, like, Jack and Sam were working together, like, very closely. And I don't know why. I think it was just, like, I don't know what it is. Like, y'all just, like, are, like, a match made in Survivor Heaven. Like, that is just, like, it makes sense. So everybody, like, assumed that was what's happening.
Yeah, tall guy and pretty boy.
Yeah, that's what we called y'all, because we didn't know what your names were for a while. So tall guy and tall boy and pretty boy. And so, yeah, we were confused. I heard there was, like, a girls' alliance. But I was like, that's obviously a pretty big alliance. So I don't really know who's, like, actually, like, on top of that. And, like, I think what confused me the most was when, like, I know in, like, episode 6, like, Maggie was, like, trying to help me a little bit. And, like, she said to me in a text, like, I have never been on the bottom. And I never was. And I was like, what? And so I was confused because I knew that you guys kind of forced her into playing the idol. And so I was like, well, why would they force you to play your idol if you weren't on the bottom? And she like, tried to explain it off. But I was, like, more confused after that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, ultimately, I was like, I don't think she really is, like, not on... Like, I feel like she is on the bottom to some degree. She just, like, refuses to believe it. Yeah. So that was, like, all I could really make of what was going on. And I felt like it was possible that maybe, like, divisions on your tribe hadn't really been set in stone yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I felt like there was just a lot of mixing of, like, alliances and that it wasn't, like... Y'all didn't have, like, a set... like situation of like who was really working with who, because I don't even think you guys necessarily knew who was really with who for a while.
I for sure did.
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. Yeah,
I mean, there clearly was the Bunny Alliance, which Kevin did know about, but Abby didn't believe him when he told her.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there is a separate alliance that me, Jack, and Sarah have with Maggie, and then Abby, I guess, wasn't really a part of an alliance. She was kind of connected to me.
No, I thought Abby was a part of I thought Abby was an alliance with everybody.
She was part of the Idol Alliance, Jack.
The Mass Alliance.
Idol Alliance. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I forgot about that. Dang. I'm sorry, Abby.
Oh, wait, you forgot to give her the idol? Wait, Jack.
Yeah, I was going to. I had it all planned and everything. I just slipped my mind.
How could you forget something that important? Oh my gosh.
Shoot.
I feel bad. I feel like people keep making promises to Abby, but then like not really believing
That's
them.
kind of a theme, isn't it? Abby gets promised things to people, Well, I pinky promised with Abby that I would tell her everything. I did tell her about the Bunny Alliance. It was, only because I was worried that Kevin was going to tell her. But yeah, up until this point,
well,
Abby
and because
has kind of had a rough go in Ohana. I think that she benefited from the swap.
I think she did too.
Yeah.
Because she became kind of in a power position at the swap and kind of being a swing vote.
Yeah.
And I almost went with you guys. I almost told you guys to play the idol.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Because Kevin told her about, like, the fake idol plan. Like, she knew everything from both sides.
Okay.
And she easily could have said, look, they know about the fake idol thing. Play your real idol. And she said she considered it, but ultimately did not decide to go that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see throughout the season whether or not that was a good decision for her.
Yeah.
But she did have the power to be able to make that decision.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I saw a comment on, like, I don't remember exactly which one it was. It had to have been the last episode, but I saw a comment that was like, wow, like, Abby's really, like, coming into her own in terms of, like, gameplay and stuff. And I felt like that was, like, probably, like, I think that was thus far, like, her strongest week for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She almost was voted off in the first episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not very often that the person who's, like, you're debating between two people to vote off.
Right.
And, like, the other person does not usually make it very far.
Yeah.
So it is cool seeing Abby kind of, have a revitalized game since then.
Yep.
Well, yeah, speaking of coming into her own, I feel like Mallory recently has also kind of started to pick up, like she came into the game not really knowing literally anything about what she signed up for in Survivor, but I've seen a lot of people like comment and tweet about how Mallory is like really starting to like pick it up slyly under the radar. Like what exactly is going on here?
I mean, yeah, she has found out this is not a survival club. It actually is a survival club. I thought it was very interesting what she was saying about like Sarah, about you, and about like her kind of thoughts on like separating like personal things from the game and what that looks like, as she like really, really like liked you as a person and didn't want to vote you out, but like knew it was something she had to do. I thought it was really interesting seeing her describe that.
Yeah.
Very Shakespearean, Julius Caesar. I thought it was kind of funny seeing that conversation where Sarah's like, yeah, Kevin, I'm way better leader than you. And Mallory's like, we'll see.
Like, we'll see.
A little
harsh, but okay.
That's fine.
Mallory's perceptive. It seems like she's perceptive. I feel it,
Yeah.
I think that she knows that you and Kevin both threw each other under the bus. And I don't think that she's a fan of either of the move on either side.
Yeah.
Then Nick talks about how Sarah is going around proposing a lot of different alliances to people.
The editing of that scene where it just like pops up, and it's not just pictures, it's like videos. But you're just like looking in the camera. It's so cool.
That was really cool. I agree. I love what Yin did with that. I'm curious, like Sarah, like what was your plan for the new Ohana tribe? Like what was your post-merge plan? Because it's Nick and Mike are kind of talking about how you've been saying different plans to both of them and different plans to Mallory, and it's like they don't know which one's the real one. So like what was your plan for like going forward in the merge and like for the Ohana tribe specifically?
So going forward, I actually didn't want to work with Mike. I met with Mike just to like kind of see where he was at and kind of be like, oh, okay, yeah, like let me try and agree with you, but also I don't see this moving on. What I wanted to do was actually work with Mallory and Sam moving forward, but also like kind of going back to what you just talked about with like Mallory's confessional. I think I saw the game very differently and I wanted to work with people that I liked. Also, like that week I knew, because I had met with Mallory like twice, I think the second time we had met, she was very quiet. She didn't really say anything. She was kind of like trying to awkwardly get out of the conversation. Like that's how our conversation went. And I knew something was up because I was good at like I'd had multiple conversations with her. So I was good at perceiving how she was feeling. And I could tell like just like partly from that I was going home that week, because she was kind of like, I don't know if I could trust her. But yeah, I did want to work with Mallory moving forward and Sam. And then so the problem with Nick was that Nick was just very much a wild card, and I knew he was really close to Kevin at the time. So I wanted to get what information I could out of Nick to see how I could better adjust my game moving forward, and then not work with Nick moving forward, because he was very much a wild card. And I think, like I said earlier, after like breaking ties with Kevin and Kevin being voted out, I wanted to move on and just have like a better game and play my game. And I didn't want to work with Nick or Mike moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So if you did want to work with Mallory, so you weren't entirely Ohana strong.
I was still Ohana plus Mallory.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's trade Maggie and Mallory.
Replacing Maggie and Mallory.
Just like Mallory as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, me, you, and Mallory all went to the same church.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the challenge then. Yeah. So we walk in. Cooper. Also, side note, I think it's funny how everyone in the audience like blames or congratulates everything on Cooper as if he's like the only person on production. But like in reality,
good job, Cooper.
Cooper doesn't necessarily like call the shots on production. I feel like there's like a lot of producers who like have put a lot of effort into deciding what happens, and like Cooper's just kind of like the face of it all.
Yeah.
It's definitely not like Cooper deciding everything.
I mean, you see a lot of season 1 people behind the scenes.
Right.
Like we get Brittany shots, we get shots of Mitch and Akshay.
Matthew's very involved.
Matthew. Yeah.
Sneak peek for next episode. Listen very closely. Look out for Thal. Thal makes an appearance in episode 7.
Wow.
So Cooper tells us both tribes are going to tribal council.
Yeah, you guys heard that.
I was like, hell fucking yeah, this is my shot. Like, here we go. Like, I was like, all for this because, like, I was like, they would so throw this challenge to vote me out right now. Like, they would so do it. So I was like, okay, this is best case scenario. Yeah, I'm for sure going to tribal, but I at least have a chance to keep myself safe. Obviously, that did not pan out.
Yeah.
You were close, though.
Clue or immunity.
Yeah, which I ended up getting that clue. Anyways,
it was,
just a little too late.
A little bit too late. Yeah.
I feel like I got robbed because I thought I was on a tribe that was going to be safe to the merge because you guys was going to keep throwing challenges until all Cerulean was gone, and now all of a sudden I have to go to tribal too. Like, I was pissed at Cooper. Why?
Bailey, weren't you third on our tribe? Like, you almost.
Yeah, and so it's funny because I actually also beat Nick, who got the clue on the other side. Like, I was in longer, so I was the 4th person left.
Yeah.
But I was the 3rd person on our tribe, so.
I was so nervous watching that. I was like, oh no, what if she wins? That would have been crazy.
We were terrified of you finding an idol because we did not know what we would do. Like,
right.
I don't know who would you have went after? Who would you have went after if you had found the idol? Or
you definitely would have sent me the clue, right, Bailey? We were super close, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would have totally shared that with everybody. Yeah.
Notice I made that in the edit. Me and Bailey were actually the closest like alliance through all of this.
Yeah, they just somehow missed that story.
Yeah, we met for like an hour every week. Like, this is crazy.
Oh yeah. That's where all the information was coming from, was from Jack. Just
That's how you knew about Maggie and Jerry.
Exactly.
I definitely did tell Kevin about that. So
I love how like
that's funny.
We were like, how'd you guys know about that? And like we were just like, some of you were just like, I don't know. I didn't tell them. We're just like, if Sarah didn't tell them, then who did? We're just like, they had to find out somehow. Like,
what's funny is in the moment, I had no idea that was even going to be a question that was brought up. Like, I just thought, like, information kind of circled around and everybody was like, yeah, that's just how it goes.
Oh,
like, and I remember Cooper did my confessional that week about it, and he asked me, he was like, so do you think anybody, like, wonders how you knew about that? And then I was like, well, now I do, but, like, not really.
I guess, like, Sarah, did Mike know about that already?
Yeah, I think I told Mike about it, but I don't think he was.
Other than that, other than that, like, you and Sarah and Kevin, and then Sarah and Mike. So, like, those are really the only paths where any information would ever be exchanged between the two tribes. Because, like, I mean, I wasn't talking to anyone necessarily, and I didn't even know their names. Like, I knew Kevin's name, I knew Bailey's name.
I remember. I feel like people on Ohana kept being like, I don't know, do you guys even know people on Cerulean? Like, everyone kept talking about, like, do you guys, like, know Cerulean people? And I just kept being like, no, I don't even, like, I've never talked to them.
Yeah. I remember, like, Nick, I kept forgetting, like, Nick and Mike, like, existed. After a certain point, it's like, oh, wait, they're the other guys. Like, there's only 2 other guys, like Nick and Mike. But I didn't know their names until, like, and I was never on the tribe with them even after the swap. So, like, because, like, you only know their names because like they're in the group, in the tribe. Like you weren't in a group with Cerulean. I remember that I was playing. I like got my phone out and I started playing Shooting Stars by Bag Raiders.
You did.
Like it got cut from the episode. I was pretty bummed.
They cut that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think that because they're worried about copyright or something.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, we definitely see you on your phone.
Great part.
I know.
I thought that was my shining moment because I was like playing music perfectly.
It was great. I loved it.
I was like being really obnoxious, so I'm glad that I won, or else it would have been like an obnoxious kid that also lost. But
And I called, like, I don't know what it was with me calling challenges, but I called that challenge going in. I also knew it was something to do with balancing because I was like, I don't remember how I knew. Shoot, I don't remember. But anyways, I was also really, really tired that day, and that was like the only hour I had. And I was like, it's going to be something to do with like balancing or standing because my legs are absolutely shot right now.
Oh
my
no.
God.
It was so bad.
I feel like there isn't a lot. I feel like me and you, Sarah, were like closer than like the edit really showed. Like we talked. I guess like neither of us really probably each other's like number ones or twos, but like I feel like we had a good thing.
Yeah,
like, I definitely feel like. Oh,
tough things like so many people were
sorry.
So many people. It's like hard to like.
It's hard to
like,
show everything.
Them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like a lot of things are cut. It's just like the things that are most important for like the episode or who gets voted out are just the ones that are shown.
Right.
But it's sometimes a bummer because like you look at someone's like game and it's like, man, I feel like my whole game wasn't like shown accurately, and it's just like a bummer to like, you know, like Jeremy is like, man, yeah, I was really tight with like Sarah A. I was like really tight with Bree. I feel like it was kind of shown, but not like really, really shown.
Right.
And sometimes it's just like sometimes there isn't enough time to show it. There's enough time to show it.
Like I said, I have not really been watching. I've watched clips, but
it definitely was shown like that you and your Nick's relationship.
Yeah.
I think that there was a part where you, Nick, and Maggie met and talked with the idol.
Yeah, no, like Maggie didn't even say what that meeting was about. She just asked me to kind of put together a meeting with Nick, and I wasn't like really in a position to be like, no thanks. Like,
yeah.
So I put it together and I figured out quickly it was just she wanted to know where the idol was, and I like suspected very, very quickly that like I heard like Abby and Jack and like somebody else were there together, so I knew one of them had it before I had the chance to go find it.
Yeah, I think you mentioned in the episode that you thought that either Sarah Z, Jack, or Abby had it.
But you were right.
Yeah, and he gave me the clue to go look for it. So I don't know. I figured at that point, like me and Nick, like we did have like a good working relationship, and so I figured that like if he did have it, he would have tried to help me because he wasn't in any like imminent danger on his tribe.
Yeah. I remember that meeting with you, Nick, and Maggie. I was like, I really wanted to make the episode, but just like it just didn't exist. Like it just wasn't filmed.
Yeah.
So like, hey, if you're watching this and you're a Call Survivor person, film everything.
Film everything.
It's not gonna be shown, and then it just doesn't exist as far as the edit is concerned.
Yeah. So
film everything.
Yeah, those sirens going off. They found somebody who wasn't filming. So they're coming for you. Okay.
Remember that going to that challenge, I like just had coffee with somebody, so like I was like shaking, like I was literally shaking from coffee. I was like, I have a balanced plate. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's so funny.
Like I don't know how I don't know, like I thought I was gonna lose for sure. It's because due to how like shaky I was, but like I don't know, that challenge, like I think it did definitely help, like having to balance a lot for band. I did band only for 1 year, but it was that year.
Right.
So like I was like, me and Abby, I guess was probably not a question that we were the last two, because like you're pretty used to like bouncing on one leg. I think that you mentioned that, Bailey.
Yep.
So yeah, we saw Nick and Mike on Ohana, me and Abby on Cerulean. I was kind of a bummer that like nobody in the minority ended up getting immunity or a clue on their tribe.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of fun if like, you know, if either of you had like gotten a clue or something.
Yeah, for
it would have been more interesting. But like,
I don't know. I'm fine with how it turned out.
I think had I gotten it, like there was a good chance I could have found it.
Oh
for sure.
Yeah. Because Nick and Abby could not find it though. They were
how? Like I literally, the second I got that clue, I went over to the exact spot where it was found and was digging.
If you pay close attention to the episode, you see that Abby goes to the exact same spot that Jack ends up finding the idol. Really? Like it shows the same exact bush. Abby like looks there, and then she like goes to the camera and is like, I'm gonna call the rest of them because I can't find it. And that's the exact spot that Jack found it. So, they were there,
because
she just didn't find it. I wish
it was literally like
Abby would have found it, but
It's just because it was so deep in there. Yeah.
You see, Mike wins immunity on Ohana. I win immunity on Cerulean. I think I chose for us to go first. I don't know. I guess I asked the tribe.
I said I wanted to go first because I wanted to get it over with.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I remember being I'll talk about it, and no one had a preference. I think Bailey was like, let's just get it over with. And I was like, all right, we'll go first. Yeah. There was really no strategy involved in that. I was just I don't know. I didn't care. Whatever the tribe wants to do.
Yeah. It was just Kevin. It was.
I literally don't think I spoke to you Kevin. In person once.
I didn't.
I don't think either of us ever talked to each other.
Yeah. I didn't. So it was just the perceptions of what Kevin portrayed. Yeah. And he was like, no, you don't want to work with Bailey. She doesn't like you and whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, Bailey's a terrible person because what you're telling me is true.
Yeah, Kevin was very much like, oh my god, this is the first time because for the longest time I was like, I actually don't understand, looking back on everything, what his motive was. And I honestly think it just came down, saw opportunities in hurting other people's feelings. I don't think he ever saw opportunity in getting close with people and connecting with them. I think in his mind it was I'll be safe if somebody else is being thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin?
That's an interesting...
Oh my god, I finally figured it out, guys. I finally did it. The question we've all been asking for 2 years and it's been answered.
That's actually true.
I don't even know if Kevin could articulate that.
I don't think he could either.
He'd be like, well, I was just doing what... very interesting for the camera. But we need to talk about the idol first.
Oh, okay.
So, Jack, you can narrate through this part.
So both Abby and Nick get the idol clue, and both of them have obligations later in the night because they have lives, which is lame. When you're doing Survivor, just make sure you cancel all other obligations in life.
That's how Jack found all his idols. He had no life.
That is. Yeah, so, they go out there. I don't know how in-depth you want me to get, but they go out there.
Because I remember I was eating at Piata with my friends, which is kind of close to the bell tower. And so then after I got the clue, me and my friend, we raced over. But then I also had obligations because I had to go see a movie. So that really screwed me over.
Yeah.
I just remember being I really want Abby to give this clue to me. I feel we don't really have that super strong of a connection, but I feel there's at least the Avenue thing. I even wasn't really thinking about that whole Idol Alliance thing that we had back from episode 3. I was just I'm really scared that Nick will find it because I'm pretty sure that you guys got the same clue. Let me know where it is, blah blah blah. I'll give it to you, no strings attached, which obviously I knew as I was writing that was a complete lie. I don't know why she would believe that I would do that. We weren't really that close in the game. I feel if somebody told me I'd give you the idol, no strings attached, I'd be that's bullshit. But
I know.
I don't know.
I feel she just probably didn't think you would. She thought you wouldn't find it. She's whatever. You can have a clue. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think she was just leaving. She had to go anyways. Yeah, but she definitely told you two first, right? And then
so she told me, Sarah, and Maggie because
the Mass Alliance
wasn't really shown, but we had an alliance together called Mass, which was Maggie, Abby, Sam, Sarah, and she sent it to us. I think that she sent it to us after I bugged her a lot about it. I was texting her the whole hey Abby, can I have the clue? Hey Abby, what's the clue say? Blah blah blah. I kept texting her and she didn't respond because she was looking. And finally she gave up. She was fine. I think she knew that it would be really sketchy if she didn't share it with us. So because I was just Abby, you're gonna share it, right? When are you gonna share it? So I feel she pressured her enough that she shared it with us. Then probably felt if I'm gonna share it with them, might as well share it with all of Ohana. I don't know if did she ever show you, Sarah, or no?
Was it I don't remember. If you remember what it said,
the one about the bell tower. Maybe she never did show you, but I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Bree has made it clear that she does not. I wish she would make it clear that she does not care for looking for the idol.
Yeah.
She lived on North Campus and didn't want to have to come down and look in the snow for the idol. So she just never looked for it.
In the snow looking for it? Yeah. It was brutal. You gotta punch through ice.
Yeah.
And
your hands freeze.
It's you can't even dig because you can't feel your hands.
Yeah.
And Jack looked so much for the idols. I just didn't see a point in for them. So I was I feel Jack will just find it and tell me. Well, also I feel I knew within a day of the idol clue being released that Jack had the idol because he told me both times immediately he found it.
Yeah.
So I'm just well, why would I look? I already know that Jack has it. So I don't know. I didn't even bother looking for that idol either. Jack just I remember I knew later that night that you had it, but I don't even know what I was doing that day. I just wasn't there. I was Because Abby gave me the clue. I guess I just didn't feel like looking for it. But
I feel like you kind of see it from the edit. Like, again, this is just something that's like impossible to really convey, like in the edit. But just like how much I was looking for idols, like it was literally like all I would do.
Wait, Jack, I think this was the time. I think when me and you were looking before I left was when you accidentally touched a dead crow with your hand.
Yeah.
So gross.
That was. See, I was getting dirty. I was crawling things even like before this. I grabbed because I saw something weird looking. This weird mass, this blob, and then I realized like as I was like holding it, I was like crow, and I was just like, But I was wearing a glove, so I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna keep looking.
Hey Tiggs, I have a question because this is like been something that's been on my mind for the past 2 years. So
okay, whoa, all right.
So do you remember this? I think this was the time where like the second or third time you were out looking for it that night, or you were like, I'm just going to keep looking for the idol, just to kind of pretend that you didn't have it. And then I went and joined you, and you drove me home, and you were parked by the league. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And you went to your back seat before you got in the front. Was the idol in the back seat of your car?
I think it might have been.
Because you were like cleaning up like the back seat and like moving things off, and I was like, this is a little bit suspicious, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Maybe I want a clean car.
I think like I don't think it was like open in the back seat, but I think it like scared. I don't know. Like I actually do remember this. And I was just like, I think I like wanted to pass it off. It was like, oh yeah, it's like, sorry, I haven't been giving people a ride. Like it's kind of dirty back here. But I definitely kind of remember that was on my mind. Like making sure. Yeah, I think it was just even that like it was just like out of reach. Because like I was even just like I was so paranoid that like we're talking or like I'm driving and you just kind of like unzip it or like look into it or something and I don't notice.
You just unzip his backpack.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds ridiculous saying it out loud, but like that was definitely something that was going through my head.
That's not me. But yeah, okay, cool. I was just curious because that just always was like on my mind.
Yes, your suspicions are 100% correct there. Sorry.
That's okay.
It sounds like you had suspicions of things that were absolutely true, but then you just didn't pursue them.
Yeah, I totally did with like a lot of things. And if I did, I feel like I have a lot more information in the game because I really like honestly wanted to work with you, Tiggs, and you, Sam. Yeah. I felt like you two were my closest when we had that conversation in the car when I was like, you were the first ones I told about working with Kevin.
Yeah.
And I was like, I trust you the most at this point. Like, what do I do? Help, kind of. But, you know, also, like, this is an option. So, yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah, it didn't pan out that way.
It's all good.
So,
anyways.
Jack, you got the idol, and then you decided to tell me and Maggie about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I, like, as you can just tell by that whole conversation right there with, like, having an idol, having two idols at that point just made my mind go into, like, such, like, overdrive, is that, like, it just kind of, like, put, like, a lot of pressure onto me, and I was just, like, everything that, like, I know, like, coming into this game, like, don't tell people about your idol, but, like, I just, you know, like we were talking about earlier, like I just felt like me and Sam had like such this good alliance. Like it's a match made in Survivor Heaven that I can at least tell him. And I was just like, I need to just, like get this off my chest to somebody. And I feel like
why did you tell Maggie and not me? In that week?
So yeah, are you a little bitter?
I guess.
I just. I feel like that's another thing. I just feel like I keep complaining about the edit when I have like a really, really good edit. Like I'm getting a lot of confessionals. It's just like there's so much that goes on. But like me and Maggie are meeting like every week and like going over a ton of stuff. And I feel like she like really trusts me. Like I know like she told me about her idol, like, and I was the only person she told about that. So I was just like, all right, I have two idols. I feel like, yeah, repaying the favor. I'm not going to tell her about both. I don't trust her as much as I do Sam, but like I feel like this will like lock in, especially because I felt like we were on like different tribes at that point. Maybe she might be drifting away from me, or like I kind of wish that we could see a little bit more of our conversations. But again, yeah, there's so much going on in these episodes that it's can't fit all of that stuff in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you do see me kind of having this beginning thing of like, man, like Jack is 2 idols. That's kind of threatening. Like, if you can just play them, I think it's at like a final 7, final 6, and be in the final 5. So I'm already like in the episode having a little bit of suspicions about Jack. I don't think it was shown, but in episode 2, I think that like it seems like, oh man, we had this super tight relationship this whole entire game, and all of a sudden I know about a second idol, and now I'm suspicious. There was like times throughout ever since the very beginning where I was like, man, like I really, really like this alliance with Jack, but like Jack is clearly a threat. And I think that like you finding 2 idols like made me feel like, oh my gosh, like am I gonna be the guy that's like, you know, bested by like a person that like everyone watches the season later on is like, how would you not turn against like them? They were clearly running it from the beginning, blah blah blah. I think that was so like hyper aware of that. I was just like, man, Jack has 2 idols. Like I need to just like be aware of that. Yeah,
honestly,
kind of introduced in this episode.
But yeah, like it stems back all the way to when we're doing the scavenger hunt, right? And I talk about how we can be JT and Steven. I really wish that stuff like that could make the episode.
Yeah, because I was like, well, who's JT and who's Steven? Because in the season that we're talking about, Token Teens, JT and Steven go all the way to the end together, and they have this bromance the whole time. But JT ends up wiping the floor with Steven at the final tribal. So it's just like, you don't want to be the person that's the second wheel. You don't want to be the Steven that gets wiped.
The Steven.
Like, goes to the final tribal.
You don't want to be the Steven.
I made a comparison again this episode, Jack. We were like, telling everyone my idol will be a JT level move. This JT is going to be better than that.
Wow.
Yeah, because that was a reference to JT's second season. I know, it's like almost a little bit on the nose. Like, we have the same exact initials. Like, come on. Like, it's just like, it feels like this comparison is just like set.
Should we go to Ohana strategizing? New Hana, sorry.
Yeah, New Hana, baby.
It starts with Nick talking about how he really likes Bree.
So
they have a good combo.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they are like people that immediately like connect like right off the block. Like I feel like but like it definitely seems like Nick is putting a lot more like weight into like his relationship with the Brie.
Yeah. If I may, this kind of goes off of something that it goes off of this, but it wasn't shown in the episode, I don't think. Well, actually, I also didn't watch the whole thing, but anyways. Yeah. Brie and I had spoke on the phone like that Monday night, like a week prior to Tribal, and I knew after that conversation Brie no longer trusted me. So I had the entire week ahead of me before Tribal to try and figure out what I was going to do to try and save myself, which I think comes up later when I'm just like grabbing for straws to see like if people will keep me around. But I think because that like Brie and Nick got so close, she kind of just abandoned ship and was like, no, bye.
Yeah, you're both not really on the same page anymore.
Yeah, and like after that, I knew I was going home that week. Like, I didn't suspect it.
You pretty much knew it going into Tribal then.
Yeah, and also Tribal was just really awkward, but we can get to that later.
Yeah. Well, there's one more thing on New Hana to talk about, and that's the fake group meet.
Oh God.
Did you know about that, Sarah?
I didn't. Akshay told me about it after I got voted out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know. He was like, yeah, basically they devised this whole plan and it's really evil. I don't know if you want to hear this. And I was like,
it's really
sure,
evil.
tell me. And I was just like, oh my God, that's the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, like this is something you can't do in real Survivor, but like when you're playing on campus, you have technology to like mess with you.
Yeah.
So it's like people can create messages that look like you said something that you didn't, which is really scary because it's hard to like prove that you didn't, or even like know about it. So I don't know.
And Nick like buys it hook, line, and sinker.
Nick.
Apparently my conversation with Brie went really well. Like
he was very upset with me. I didn't do it though.
Well,
you didn't do it.
No, it's so funny.
I just love how he was so upset over something that didn't actually happen. Like all the emotion he had of like, Sarah's such a snake. Like I'm gonna pass this dinner plate to Mike. I'm gonna pass it to Mallory. It's like Nick. Like that's all made up. Like
my favorite thing is that whenever he like writes stuff, he always thinks it's gonna be flipped when it's like on camera. So he writes things backwards. I'm pretty sure on his plate. He wrote it like backwards.
I couldn't read anything that was written on that plate.
That's hilarious.
Because he wrote it backwards, and then it flips it.
Couldn't Ian like flip that? Come on.
That's true, actually. Also, I just feel like Nick is so animated that like if you paused him at any point in his confessional, it would be like a blur because he's like moving around so much.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this as far as like how good of a move it was by Bree?
Well, can we take a step back? I feel like to get more context about this is kind of like my meeting with Mike before this, I think, happens, right? Am I getting the timeline right?
Yeah.
Because I think that like I was definitely kind of like playing close with Bree this week, and I was just like, I think we kind of like agreed on like Cheaty first and try to get out a cerulean, but then like if that doesn't work, then like maybe we can flip it onto Sarah. And so yeah, I think you kind of see me like I think I say exactly that basically in my conversation with Mike and like in my confessional, kind of like intersplice with that is that like I try like kind of like almost weekly like to like see if we can get out Cheaty, and then that's when it starts to kind of like go towards you, Sarah Avery, because I was just like I knew that there was just like so much around about you and Kevin and everything like that. Like I thought like just being in the minority, like it was definitely the easiest person that I could throw the vote onto.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I don't take that against you or Bree either, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. Like it's a game, I get it.
Yeah, I feel like when you're in the minority, sometimes it just kind of turns into like an anybody but me situation.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Like you can't really afford to like be loyal to the people you want to be loyal to.
Yeah, and Jack definitely tried, but yeah, you kind of like I think saw very quickly that it wasn't going to work that way.
Yeah, especially after the Kevin vote. And Bailey warning everyone to like stick together on cerulean.
Yeah, Ohana was strong. Yeah.
It would be especially hard to go for a cerulean.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if we lost the first challenge, then like there could have been some avenue of keeping Ohana there, but like especially after getting Kevin out, just kind of showed how tightly Ohana was kind of like just like telling lies to people and like kind of like going like circles around people, mm-hmm. which you guys all did like masterfully. And I had no part of during the Kevin boot.
I also remember Jack. I remember thinking like, mm-hmm. okay, Jack, if you vote out an Ohana member, and like Sarah A was actually someone that Mike wanted out, I was like, this could prove to like Mike that you could be someone that would be good to work with going forward. I remember thinking.
Yeah, and like that was another thing. I feel like I was kind of like coming out of that conversation with Mike, like, wow, like it's amazing, like how easy it was that I got Mike to want to work with me, because I had absolutely like zero idea that you two were super close and that you're like, definitely being like, hey, keep Jack around. I just thought that I was mm-hmm. playing brilliantly. My brilliant mind got Mike on my side.
Wow, Jeremy Hans is back in business. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike and Mallory's talking kind of about this proposed post-merge alliance of the trio of Mike, Mallory, and Nick combining with the trio of Jack, Sam, and Sarah.
Sometimes I hear y'all say things about this game, and I'm like, was I even playing the same game
as
everybody else? I was just off in my own little world, like in Bailey's mind.
Oh, same. Like I had no idea what was going on. Like I didn't even think to like talk to people on the other tribe.
No, me neither. Yeah. No, not only did I not think to talk to anybody on their tribe, I was vehemently against working with anybody on the other tribe. Like Maggie started to like kick the line that was being drawn between our tribes. Like she started to form it, and I was just like, stick, Sam, I was like, nope.
Oh yeah, it like made for just like such a great like story. Like I don't know, I just like the way that like the whole pre-merge went, as far as just like
it was an exciting
the leaders thing, but also just like the competition between Ohana and Cerulean. Like I feel like it just like it's such a good like story, like how it all happened.
I love the pre-merge.
It's so entertaining to watch, and I like totally understand it from a fan perspective. But like, I'm just like, yo, imagine being on the receiving end of all of Maggie's bullshit. Like, it's literally the worst.
I felt bad for you.
Like, just imagine like if it was one of y'all, and like imagine if our position was switched, and like you were on my tribe, and like you were dealing with Maggie. Like, it is
then it's like
so hard.
I know, it's not easy to be. You do not want to be on Maggie's bad side.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I was like, well, I don't want to be on Maggie's good side because I don't like her. So I guess
out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about our Bailey versus Lucy debates.
Mm-hmm.
because
I'm very curious to hear about that because in my mind, I was always kind of like, oh, they're just pretending that they're debating it and they're just going to
No.
We did have a big
We were debating so much in our group meets and in our messages, literally back and forth up until the point where we almost flipped a coin at Tribal.
Y'all, that would have been so fucking obnoxious. That would have been so fucking dope for me.
I'm glad we didn't do that. We almost did that, and we were just like, that'd be pretty mean. Like, let's not do that.
Well, so the thing was, I think we kind of articulated, but like Bailey, we were just so concerned that because you were such a better player than Lucy in our minds.
Like I wasn't.
I know.
I had like the passion and like the drive to want to be a good player, but none of the like knowledge of like the Survivor nuances or strategy.
Yeah.
So like I desperately wanted to like play, but I just didn't really know what I was doing.
But that's what it was.
Knowledge of Survivor before playing was like literally like you do a challenge and then you get a private council. Like I didn't understand all the background stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Lucy was also like that, but she didn't have as much motivation and like as you, I feel like.
True.
Yeah, but Lucy got her entire sorority to search with her. Am I right?
I definitely feel like we weren't very we definitely like just weren't very threatened by Lucy.
Right.
Like we definitely saw you as a very big character and a big player.
Yeah.
But we did see Lucy as a potential challenge threat. That was one thing.
Yeah, true.
I think that like also though it showed the conversation I had with Lucy where I was just like, wow, Lucy said she doesn't think that anyone has lied yet in the game. And I was like, what? Like
I love that. That's one of my favorite conversations.
That literally sums up Lucy.
I was like, I think I really saw an opportunity of like, hey, I think I kind of touched on it in the episode of like, if I have a plan on turning on Jack eventually, Lucy could be someone that would do that with me, but and probably wouldn't question it a ton versus Bailey. I don't really know what she would do. And that's kind of as I was suggesting to Lucy, hey, why don't you play more as a free? Kind of like in the back of my mind, like thinking about like turning on Jack at some point.
At the same time, did I not prove that if I had your loyalty and you had mine, I literally would do whatever you said. Like I literally believe anything.
That was the thing, though. I was, I think it might have been me and Sam. We were also kind of scared that Maggie had Bailey the most, and we didn't want Maggie to have that number.
You guys were talking a lot at that point. Like Maggie was telling us how like you guys were like actually like on better terms, and like just like telling us about how like you were like having these like late night like texting sessions. We were just like, wait a second, like, I don't know about that. Like,
I wouldn't say it was like that. I feel like if any single one of you had reached out to me, like it would have been different. It's just Maggie was the only one who was even giving me the time of day. Like, and so I was like, I guess like, because I also was very hesitant about like. I don't know. I just felt like if I went to every single person and like pled my like and gave my big spiel, like it just felt like it would have made it worse. Like,
yeah, I do. I actually remember I had an idea that I actually like ended up really regretting having our tribe go first, and I tried to get the producers like to change it, and I was like, hey, can I change my mind and have us go second? And they said no, because I had an idea of what if I can like tell Nick or something. If you can make sure Sarah Avery is protected and get rid of Bree, and get rid of Cheaty, then I will protect Bailey, and we'll get rid of Lucy. And thinking of making a deal to the other side, and then since they would go first, like we would then like whatever happened as the result of their tribal would like affect the result of our tribal.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was like really considering like making that deal to like Nick or Mike, and like, but then like the production was like, well, you already said that your tribe is going first, so and I was like. I guess I can't change it then. I guess
they should have just changed it for the sake of that.
I honestly,
like,
I know. I really wish
because
I really would have been curious, like whether they would have been willing to part with Cheaty. Also,
the answer is yes.
Mike would have wanted Lucy to stay out of you and Lucy. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I don't know what Nick definitely would have.
Nick would have wanted Bailey. Yeah, I think.
Right.
Well, he also had the 3 with. Oh no, he didn't have anything with Lucy. So yeah, he would have wanted Bailey. I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
Real quick on that, I remember, like, this might help you, Bailey. I feel like, I remember someone came to me, it was either Maggie or, like, Abby, and they came to me and they were like, they told me about the plan to vote out Bailey to see if it came back to them, to see if I was still, like, close and working with you to say, hey, like, they're going to vote you out, use an idol or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
And then, I don't even know what the purpose of that was, but, like, I didn't go through with that. So I think that had something to do with the strategies behind things.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was a weird conversation I had with one of them. It was probably Maggie.
Wait, this reminded me, Sarah, do you have the group me of like me, you?
I was literally just looking for that because I know I do because I saw
it's called like Noose.
I found it. I found it. Yeah.
Because we have like a big debate about Bailey versus Lucy.
Yep.
And I feel like we like really articulated our reasoning like in that debate.
Oh yeah.
Like what and like because we made a decision like in like that group.
True. Especially because we are like currently 2 years removed from the situation.
There's so many. Do we want to go through it? Some of it.
Interesting.
And that was.
At one point, Maggie's like, I'm asking Bailey if she has any text screenshots that proves she doesn't know he had the idol. Also, I said at one point, I honestly think Lucy too, because Maggie also wanted Lucy. But I was saying because Bailey would be an easy first post-merge vote out. And then Maggie's sending screenshots from your conversation, Bailey, about like you proving that you didn't know about the idol, I think.
Yeah, she believed it too.
I don't even know how I managed to do that.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I can't believe I found a text that's kind of plausible. Like,
yeah. Didn't even think of making a fake one, but
no, I'm not that sneaky.
Yeah.
At one point, I sent a screenshot of a Magic 8-Ball because we were down to that. I was like, I asked Magic 8-Ball we should vote for Lucy, and it said yes for sure. But then I was like, update. I asked if we should vote for Bailey, and the Magic 8-Ball said yes to that too.
You have that big paragraph I sent for like the argument for keeping Lucy and getting rid of Bailey.
Yeah.
I had like a big like.
Okay, this is what you said, Sam. Personally, I still think Bailey, because it worries me how she was on the bottom and was able to kind of sway us. That's a dangerous skill to have in the game of Survivor, and I see her as a strategic threat at the merge. She's a much more enormous threat than Lucy because Lucy literally said she doesn't think anybody has lied yet. She hasn't talked to anyone until this vote, and she thinks the strategy won't be set until final 7 or 8. And then you're like, I'm not too worried about either of them, but I don't think we would have to be worried about Lucy at all ever. You're like, Bailey's just someone who I'm just not sure about, which makes me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, would you have probably went back with like Nick and Mike and Mallory?
No.
Like, what would you have done if you had survived?
I told you guys. I told Maggie. I was like, I would vote with you guys. Like, I don't have a choice right now. Like, you guys voted out like my one closest ally.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you were kind of like a free agent also.
Yeah, and I also felt like, because I did ultimately like figure out that like the reason that it was me is like partially because of what you said, which was like I was almost able to talk my way out of it. But like, I think like my argument against that would have been like, yeah, because the points I was making were really true. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I guess like we were. I think like we weren't sure whether you would be loyal or not. But I guess like Lucy had told us she was going to work at the blue team.
Yeah.
I guess we just like weren't as
scared of her.
Yeah. Versus like if you worked with them,
kind of knew exactly what she would do. Like, it's the devil you know and the devil you don't.
Yeah.
Thing.
Oh, Bailey, I forgot. It was your birthday.
Okay, it was my birthday. Like, it was my birth week. It wasn't actually my birthday, but yes, like, it was my birthday, like, the day before.
Oh,
that's
I remember.
So sad.
I remember that too.
Yeah, I had a good birthday though. I was still in Survivor on my birthday, so
okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Remember, Bailey, that the week after you're voted off was like spring break. And then I saw you in the airport.
Yes.
Like days after.
Yes, we did in our drought fits. Yeah. In our gray background.
Yes, we were both wearing drought fits in the airport. So we'll send that picture out for you guys.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that should be your like Insta post pic.
Yeah, it was so random. You're just at the airport like, hey, it's Bailey.
Is there anything that wasn't shown in your edit that you want the audience to know?
Yeah.
Had a really fair edit. Like, I thought Ian was really kind in the way he did things, like especially the week where I like got into my big argument with Maggie, like the fact that he had like footage of like other people kind of also saying like that they had similar feelings on it, like made me feel better. I don't know, I was scared it was just going to be me going off on a tangent alone, like in the whole thing. Like, I was definitely like, okay, this could look a lot worse, but no, I felt like the way I was edited was like very fair. Yeah, I mean, it was 2 years ago, so it's like very weird to watch the whole thing because like I don't feel like I'm the same person as I was like playing the game, and like now having like been a part of Survivor for like so long now, and like having been able to like watch other seasons get played, like I would have played so differently, like knowing what I know now. But so I thought it was fair, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the show and actually watch it this time.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm glad.
So I haven't completely watched, like I watched the first 2 episodes all the way through, and then I haven't really watched. I kind of skimmed through this past one just to see what it was about. I feel like there was a lot around like how I'm not a good person and how I'm sketchy and how I'm just like can't be trusted at all, which I think is mostly game stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't appreciate that because I took it to heart, and I know I'm not a bad person at all. Like I really genuinely care for people.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And I think it was fair how like Ian put in at the end. I really enjoyed that after Tribal. The like, Sarah, you're a good person. I'm just sorry this happened. Like it's a game thing. There were some nice messages at the end, so I appreciated that.
Yeah. No, that's like tough. Like I think both of you like definitely like were like really big characters, but there's also like negativity surrounding your gameplay, which is just like not easy to see. So,
it's not easy to see, but like like I said, like I know so much more now than I did then, and like I did play a shitty game. Like that's not how I would have played it. Like if I knew like how everything worked. But also like I feel like I need to say like I don't blame Kevin for like my game going poorly. Like those are my own choices that I made.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how like one person in the comments said like, oh man, like sad to see Bailey go, but I really enjoyed her like one episode like.
Oh yeah, I shined in that last episode.
Yeah, having your own like. You're like, I remember you searching for the idol like right before Tribal Council.
Yeah,
like, I'm desperate right now. Through the edit, it shows like, especially like seeing how the fan reaction. Everyone's like, oh, we love Mom. Like Mom's the best. Like, I do think like you're definitely like really popular with the fans. I think that a lot of the editors show that like, especially in episode 5, like you kind of described your gameplay in that episode as like, I just came into this wanting to like create like a family. You're someone who like is like lying doesn't fit like your personality or like your character as a person, and thus like it led to like in Survivor your game just kind of blowing up. But I think that it didn't necessarily comment on you as like being a bad or sketchy person. Definitely sad to see our mother passing away. I think that
passing away.
Jack, that was the sweetest thing, and I texted you the other day after I finished watching.
Yeah.
You said like love Mom, and you were kind of in tears, and I was like love you too. Like I really appreciated that, and I really wanted you to do well. Like I really supported both of you. Like I was like, please do well. Yeah, and I think you just said that beautifully, Sam. I agree. Like love that.
Well, I hope I can make my mother proud for the rest of this season.
We'll see.
I think the rest of the season, like the fans will be like really into the rest of it for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it really starts to pick up. Like,
You guys might be thinking that it's already. How is it going to get in even tighter gear than it already has?
It's going to be fuller tilt.
Fuller tilt.
Yeah.
Is there anything more we want to comment on Tribal Council? I mean, I guess like both pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, but Bailey was the first women voted off. I remember we all kind of like clapped for you.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. And like, I feel like we need to talk about the bit where you guys were deciding how to write.
Yeah.
I was like, knowing y'all now, I'm like, oh, y'all fucking would. Like, y'all fucking sit around and be like, oh, how are we gonna write our votes?
Yeah. We decided to be nice with it. We all wrote Bay.
Thank you. I know. I did appreciate that y'all like came around in the end.
No, when she wrote B word, I was like, what? That was completely like her. We did not discuss that. I was like, there's no way I'm writing that.
Yeah.
I think that was more a joke though, because you even see in the message that I sent in the text, she was like, I feel like I've been being too mean to Bailey and she didn't like 100% deserve it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that because, like, obviously, like, I gave y'all a reason to, like, not like me. Like, we just didn't know each other yet.
Yeah.
Like, beyond the gameplay. So, like, I appreciate that y'all gave me, like, a chance.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice way to go. Like, and it, like, honestly, like, meant a lot to me. Like, the fact that y'all were, like, really nice about, like, the way it happened. Like, it did make a difference.
Well, I feel like as a fan, like, you're watching this tribe and, like, you're probably, like, rooting for, like, oh, man, Maggie, Bailey, and a tribe together. It's going to be crazy.
I don't feel like it panned out that way.
It went, like, a different direction. But I think that it was, like, I kind of like the way that ended up, though.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
It kind of, like, had the two of you, like, kind of, like, resolving your differences to some
For
extent.
sure. And, like, there's no, like, there is no, like, me and Maggie beef, like, in real life.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't exist. Like,
it really doesn't.
Yeah, we're all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we're just two very different people that got literally pitted against each other. I mean, that's just how it worked out.
I kind of want to talk about our split vote on our tribal.
Yeah.
I had a pretty strong feeling going in. It was between Bree or I, but mostly me. But also because Bree had called me, like I said on Monday, being like, "Do you have this idol? I need you to give it to me." Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I feel like either they're coming after Bree or I, but mostly me. And if I don't write Bree's name down, I'm going home. And I knew that was the case because I was pretty good at predicting things. And I was like, this is my mom tingle, like I have.
Mom tingle.
The split and the merge. And so I debated that so heavily in my head. And at the end, I was just like, I can't do that to Bree. I'd rather just be a good human being and leave with friends than kind of backstab Bree, write her name down, have a tie, and move forward and try and fix things. So yeah. And I kind of knew because of that, the producers also before our tribal were just kind of really awkward. I had a conversation with Sarah G about lighter fluid or something. And everyone else was kind of just over in the corner, and I was like, this is really strange and really awkward.
I think it's funny how whenever something dramatic is going to happen at tribal, way more producers show up. When the billion
something weird was going to happen. There were so many people there. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, Sarah, you gave your stick back to Cooper. And he said, there's totally you said that me and Jack have quoted for years, and we just realized that we were wrong, on what we quoted.
Yeah.
What was the quote?
Cooper says, if anybody has a him or idol, now would be the time to play it. We thought that you said, not today, Coop. But you say, actually, not today, Cooper.
Whoa.
And I know, it's a tiny little thing, but I've literally quoted that so many times.
Wait, Sarah.
You've gotten it completely wrong.
Sarah, what happened to Mr. McStick?
Yeah. That's another thing the fans are dying to know.
So I remember giving it to Cooper, and I think Cooper gave it to Maggie or something happened. I was like, here, put this back in the story arc somehow. And then I remember at our reunion party, I think I got the stick back.
Oh,
or
really?
No, I asked about the stick. And apparently Ian had it in quotation marks. But honestly, I think Mr. McStick ended up getting chucked into the wilderness or something.
No!
So that answers, somebody had a question. Ask Mom if the stick is going to make it to Survivor Michigan Ghost Campus. So I guess not.
You know what? I will look for Mr. McStick again if I have to.
I'm sure after 2 years it's still somewhere. Yeah.
Wait, we have another question for you, Mom. Somebody wants to know who your favorite kid is.
Yeah.
Oh, Tiggles, hands down.
Oh.
Yes! Yes!
Wow.
I said that in my goodbye. I was like, I hope Tiggles wins. I really wanted to do
Yeah.
I was a big fan.
Somebody wants to know.
I'm a big fan of you, Mom.
Somebody wants to know what Bailey thinks of Lucy.
Okay, I literally had zero thoughts about Lucy during the game. So I guess during the game, I had no thoughts. I was just she's literally not playing. She's just sitting around doing nothing. But what I think of Lucy now is she's just this big ball of energy.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to be around.
And
she's so much fun.
She was born on July 4th, which is really fitting. She's like a firecracker.
Firecracker.
I'm a Pisces, which is very emotional, which I think is very fit.
That's great. That's great. I guess we have to say goodbye to Mr. McStick, and unfortunately we also have to, in Survivor, say goodbye to Sarah Avery / Mom and Bailey. So definitely lost some big characters this episode. So kind of pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
you guys are great guests.
With the rest though, even though we're gone.
Yeah.
I feel like we went out with a bang.
We did. We really did.
The first big arc of the season is kind of done. I feel like it really was all of this stuff has been the later stuff, and then
for sure.
And we have lost a lot of honestly, this entire pre-merge could all come back for an all-star season. I feel like you guys are all so great.
Yeah, just kind of putting a bow on the pre-merge. We kind of have the rise of the leaders in the very beginning of the first episode, and then the twist kind of leads to the fall of the leaders, and it's I just think that it's so much about Sarah Avery and Kevin, and so much about Ohana and Cerulean. We see Maggie versus Bailey, Sarah versus Kevin, and it all kind of just like
comes to a conclusion.
Comes to a conclusion at the end of this episode, I think.
Yeah,
so, for sure. Really excited about like the back half of the season.
The next chapter.
Opening
There's
up
a lot of game left to play.
Yeah, opening up some new storylines, and interesting to see what the new arc is going to be.
Yep.
And thanks for coming on, both of you.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Like find out some of the like little things behind stuff. And,
yeah.
Talk
it's really cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
Eulogy time.
Yes, Sarah. Let's jump into the eulogies for two wonderful women, Sarah Avery and Bailey, the first women to be voted out of Survivor Michigan Leaders and Best.
Oh yeah, the first woman. That would have been crazy if two more guys had been voted out. That actually would have been a lot too much.
It would be too much. I mean, I guess like it's impossible though because I won the immunity, so it would have had to.
Oh, you're right.
I would have had to give up immunity, just like Eric Reichenbach, and then be voted out. That's where Bailey went wrong. She could have tried to pull a Suri and be like, "Hey, you should give up the necklace." She should have said that to me, and then I could have just been voted out.
Yeah.
So, first part of the eulogy for Bailey, I guess, is that she should have done that.
I think Sarah A had a little bit more of a chance of surviving than Bailey at this week. Because Bailey was just so obviously the next pick after Kevin. Even though we did kind of go back and forth between her and Lucy. But I don't think there was much she could have done. Like, more than she did.
Yeah. I think that their issues are definitely aligning with Kevin.
Mm-hmm. That was a big one.
I think their mistakes, I think that this week they were kind of paying for the mistakes they'd made earlier in the game. And it might have almost been too late. I think that Bailey definitely, if she would have outlasted Abby a little bit more in the challenge, she could have either won immunity or at least gotten a clue.
That's true.
Because if Abby did not get the clue, then Jack would not have gotten the clue. Because Bailey definitely would not have been sharing it with anyone on Ohana.
That's very true. And then also maybe beforehand just not being so vocally against Ohana. And I know it was like a heat of the moment, but that kind of like burned a lot of bridges, which like thinking ahead to a swap probably wouldn't have been a good thing to do. But I get why she was doing it in the moment.
Yeah, I think she definitely felt like she was defending Cerulean. And it did seem like it kind of turned off, Mike a little bit, and some other Cerulean people were not super happy with how that all went. But I kind of feel like the way I remember it being is I really was not convinced that Bailey would have been loyal to us.
Same.
And she claims that she would have been. But I just remember in the time, I really doubted it. I really did not believe her.
Which is funny because Lucy literally said she wouldn't be loyal to us. But we still thought Bailey would be less loyal.
I think that we thought both of them wouldn't be loyal. Yeah. But Bailey could do more damage.
Exactly. And that was all, again, from previous incidents. So it was just like...
Yeah.
In that week, there was really not that much she could have done. But Sarah A, on the other hand, I think she just talked to too many people and she didn't really have her story straight at times when she was talking. Yeah. And like when people talk to each other, they kind of got suspicious that way. So maybe Sarah A could have talked less that week. Yeah,
she really should have. I think that she went, I don't know. It's tough because she was in the minority.
Yeah.
So like if she would have not talked to Cerulean at all, it would have been kind of weird.
Or
what?
Or she should have thrown Bree or Jack under the bus.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like she was really unwilling to do that. But yeah. Oh, man. I think that, she could have maybe found a scenario where Bree gets voted off instead. Mm-hmm. But it's also, though, she didn't realize that Bree had already done that GroupMe thing that really made Nick upset. So, I don't know. That's really hard. Yeah. I think that she was in a tough spot also.
It goes back to like Kevin maybe being the leader.
Yeah, you're right. Being the leader. Do you think there's any way that leaders and best as a theme? Is there any way that people that volunteered to be leaders could have made it past this leaders twist where they were in the minority after the swap? Like, do you think there's any scenario where they could have made it past?
Yeah.
Obviously.
You mean them in particular, or like anyone as a leader?
I guess both, like them and them, but also like anybody.
Right. I just feel like they were both very not low key, and like if you're already in a leader position, you should be a little more under the radar.
Yeah.
Like, they were just so flashy about it. And, like, they could have kept their relationship a secret. That would have helped, too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you're right. In the way the split vote worked, if Jack would have really wanted to save Sarah Avery, he could have. Mm-hmm. He could have said, Sarah, the only way you'll survive is if you vote for Bree, or something like that. Like, I think that Jack, but the thing is, nobody knew what she actually wanted to do. Because she said so many different things to so many people. Like, in her confessional, she said, I wanted to go, Ohana Final Six. But Jack didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that. Like, because she said so many things to so many people, it was impossible to know where she actually was. Yeah. I feel like if she would have been really clear with, like, I'm Ohana strong all the way from the very beginning, even, being honest with Kevin from the very beginning, I think that we would have been, maybe Jack would have even played an idol on her, because he had 2 idols. He had no reason to want to keep her around. Even if she could have managed her Ohana relationships a little bit better, she still might have been okay.
I agree. But overall, great characters, great last pre-merge boots. Oh, we have to rank Bailey versus, who is it?
Oh, you're right. I think 13 is Bailey versus Lavana.
Yeah.
12 is Sarah Avery versus
Cam.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And 11 is Matthew versus question mark.
Oh.
So the lion will be coming up very soon, but unfortunately not quite yet.
Okay. So Bailey versus Lavana, that's tough. I mean, they're both big characters. I will say I think Lavana was received more positively by the viewers. Yeah. But I think they're both equal amounts of memorable. Maybe Lavana a little bit more so. Just because she was so different from everyone from her season.
Lavana was able to tell the future probably better than Bailey.
Exactly.
But I think Bailey had more of a grasp on what was going on than Lavana. Even though, obviously Lavana, she knows everything. Mm-hmm. It seemed like a lot of the time Lavana really did not know what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if Bailey, I think she definitely made a mistake in aligning with Kevin. But
she was in a power position for a couple of weeks.
She was. She was calling the shots. She was the main driver behind Daniel going home, which I don't think it was a good move. But I can't think of one vote where Lavana was the driving force behind the vote.
Right. Yeah. She was always with like Akshay and Cooper.
I kind of feel like she just did whatever Akshay and Cooper told her to do.
Yeah.
Versus Bailey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was like an entertainment factor.
Yeah. Bailey was more like she would not let people tell her what to do. Like she definitely reamed Kevin out for doing something without telling her first. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see Lavana going to Cooper and saying, Cooper, you made this decision that affected my game negatively and didn't ask my permission, and basically reaming him for it. Like I can't see that being a thing. Yeah. So I think
that's tough. I don't know who I would rank above, because we're talking about like overall holistic, like
who's a better player.
Yeah, just in general.
Well, I think looking at this season, this performance, if you simulated it 100 times, I think that Bailey would probably do better more often than Lavana. I think that Lavana, maybe there are times Lavana's more under the radar, less of a threat. She might get further more often, but I think that it's way less likely that Lavana can put herself in a position to win.
Right.
Whereas I could see Bailey, certain scenarios where Bailey could be a winner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. I would put Bailey above Lavana then.
Yeah. All right.
So
there we go.
Sarah A versus
Cam. Ooh, this is a hard one. Because Cam's game is...
Yeah.
Well,
they were both in
memorable.
Exactly. Sarah A was definitely more memorable. They were both part of like a majority alliance for a lot of it. Like the Bunny and the Maison 6. Who's better though? They're very different players.
They really are. Sarah was she's a leader, she's out in front. She's not afraid to make a decision, but her decisions are usually not the best decisions.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah, so I think that Cam did know who his alliance was, and he could articulate who his number one person was. Whereas Sarah was her number one Daniel, Was it me? Was it Bree? Was it Kevin?
Yeah, Sarah's definitely a way more emotional player, whereas Cam talks with like no emotion.
Yeah. I was going to say, even at the very end, Sarah said she hopes that Jack wins. It's like, that's I was like, that's not a left field. She's never talked the entire game about liking Jack. And all of a sudden she's out and she wants Jack to win. So it's like
random.
Very, almost wishy-washy as far as like, she changes her mind very often. I actually believe, maybe when she's telling Mike, oh, I want the alliance to be me and you and Kevin and Abby and blah, blah, blah. Maybe in the moment, that's what she wants
believes
to do.
it, yeah.
And she changes her mind next time she talks to somebody else and has a new idea.
Like very easily swayed.
Yeah.
By whoever she's last talked to, or maybe.
At least Cam knew who his alliances were, and he was secure in his alliances. And he was really voted out due to like crazy idol stuff. Like,
yeah, I think Cam might be a better player, but Sarah A is definitely more of a fan favorite. But if we're talking about a better player, Cam.
I think, even looking this way, like Sarah Avery's game ended because she kind of due to her own doing. And Cam's game ended not too much due to any fault of his own. It was kind of more like we got into this swap tribe and then they played an idol correctly.
Right. Well, cool.
So, there we go.
1 from season 2, 1 from season 1.
All right, awesome.
Let's move on to power rankings. Honestly, we've gotten a lot of positive comments about these power rankings. George everyone knows George, the founder of Survivor Michigan. Honestly, I owe George my life. But George says that the power rankings are his favorite part. Like, he thinks it's super cool that we're getting fans, like people outside of Survivor Michigan, to do these. So. Oh
yeah, Cooper. I was talking with Cooper yesterday, and I was like, yeah, Cooper, we're gonna film the power rankings soon. He's like, I was like, you want to see him? I was like, listen to it in the podcast. I'm like, all right, Cooper, like you can hear it in the podcast then.
Okay.
So he was very excited to.
Yeah. Let's start with New Hana. So for New Hana, last place we have. Who do you think is last place? Oh wait, do you know?
I mean, I already know, but I don't think it's gonna be that hard. Oh audience.
Who do you think?
Okay, tweet at us. Stop. Tweet at us at hashtag KYTL E6. Your thought for who is going to be last place on the New Hana tribe.
Well, all right, now I'm going to tell you now. It's Chidi.
What? No.
I know. I thought she was like number 1, but
I thought she was like not on the season.
Oh. I had such high hopes for Chidi post swap, but again, ... nothing. I had hoped she would take the opportunity a swap has given her, but instead, she's a Survivor Maryland Xandria clone, and unfortunately, she seems destined for the same merge boot fate. Ooh.
Oh. That's their prediction for merge boot is Chidi.
Okay.
Yeah, Chidi, I don't know if she got really any screen time this episode.
I don't know what it is. Like, Chidi is super likable. Like, she's such a great person to talk to, and I feel like she would get along with, like, everyone. And she's actually a big Survivor fan. So I'm just confused why she's not, like, getting more into it.
I think that Nick said it really well. Maybe it was last episode, where he was just like, Chidi is great, but you just need to get her to talk to us. Like, come on, Chidi. Come on. Come on. Like, it seems like you need to force her to play. And if you need to be forced to play the game, you're probably not going to be a driving force in many ways. So, as we have the merge coming up next episode, maybe we'll see another change of scenery for Chidi. Maybe it'll be good for her. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. You know how this game changes like every week, so you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5, we have Bree. We've talked in previous weeks about Bree being in the hub, but this week it seems like she might be getting left behind. Without a solid number 1 in her corner and on the outside looking in of this emerging super alliance, Bree needs to put in some work and hope old Hana wants to keep her around long enough for her to gain some ground again. I think that's a good observation.
I feel like Bree was in a much better spot on the old Ohana tribe than the new swap tribe. I mean, obviously she got swapped in the minority, but like she went from this kind of spot of being, in the Bunny Alliance and close with you, close with Sarah Avery and
Jeremy,
and kind of week by week, it seems like she just loses a little bit of power. I think that in the first episode, she was very much like in one of the most powerful positions maybe on the tribe, where it could have went in a lot of different ways. There's that initial trio of you, Bree, and Jeremy. And now it's to the point where Sarah Avery is gone. The Bunny Alliance is officially dead. Like, we've lost a member. So it definitely seems like it might be this new alliance forming with Ohana and Cerulean that she's not included in. And
what?
It seems like...
I think I saw like a dead bunny when I was idol hunting, and it was just really symbolic. I'm not even kidding. Anyways,
that's hilarious. I don't know. I think the Bunny Alliance dying is definitely not good. I mean, it seems like Bree and Sarah Avery were usually always on the same page in Old Ohana.
I think she might have something going with Nick, though. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she will partner up with him going forward.
I definitely think that Bree is someone that would also benefit from a change in scenery. She's clearly on the bottom of this tribe. Even if she might be ranked low right here, we've seen in the past that she definitely has the skills to bring herself on top. She's a super fan. She knows what she's doing. So someone else that really could benefit from a merge scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4, we have Mallory. Mallory improves every time we see her on screen. She's talking about making game decisions separate from personal feelings. And now that she's got an alliance, if she can build relationships, she could really be a factor in the endgame. From dust, she was formed, but to our list of favorites, she has returned. Wow. Mallory is like the evolution of Pokemon,
Well, what Pokemon would Mallory be? This is a Jack question.
That's a good question. That's such a Jack question.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a Pokemon fan.
We all have our unique interests.
My favorite things are the Kansas City Royals and my cat Mister and my Pokemon.
Wait, actually, one time in elementary school, I walked out for recess and there was 1,000 Pokemon cards on the ground. And I just made my friend and I just picked them all up.
Oh, what? You just took them?
I was like, I want them. Yeah. They were
what if they're some kids?
It was 80% water cards though, which is kind of lame. The element.
Yeah, you need the earth. You need the earth. Remember?
Oh, shoot.
Maggie would tell you that we don't need any more waters. We need more earth people. So.
But yeah, what would Mallory? I feel isn't there a EV or something?
Oh wait. No. Mallory's an earth sign, right?
Oh yeah.
So she has to be an earth Pokemon.
Okay,
I
can picture. I just don't know the names.
Yeah. We need. All right, viewers. If any of you are Pokemon fans, please tweet at us.
Yes.
And tweet to us which Pokemon Mallory is, because we definitely need to know this now.
And in what
please
stage
do it.
Of evolution? Okay.
Yes, and what stage too? Exactly. So please do that. Please do that. I know we've asked for you guys to tweet in the past, and we haven't gotten the tweets.
Nobody tweeted, but it's fine.
It's fine. We're not quite famous enough yet, but maybe one day we'll be famous enough for a tweet. So that is the hope. And if you do, we will give you a shout out on next week's podcast. So
true story.
Yes, you will. So just saying.
Okay.
But no, are we actually going to talk about Mallory?
Yeah. No, I really liked Mallory's confessionals. She's getting some good confessionals. She's realizing she can't let her whatever personal feelings she has towards people interfere with how she's playing, which is smart, because we saw a lot of people get really caught up in the emotions of everything.
Yeah.
But she's also, I think, really good at building relationships in the sense that, I just feel like people like being in her presence. I feel like she's calming to a lot of the more intense players.
Yeah, it seems like her and Sarah Avery definitely connected. Mm-hmm. Even if Mallory does not believe that Sarah Avery is a very good leader, she is still honestly she's social enough that she can tell Sarah to her face that she doesn't think she's a good leader, and Sarah still likes her. But Yeah, I thought it was funny. I watched this episode with my family the other day, and they were saying how like, but as like, does Mallory like really read Shakespeare? And he's like, I feel like she probably does.
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like,
I
honestly, you're
it.
probably right. He's like,
I see it. Like,
it feels very, Shakespearean, Julius Caesar-esque, just stamp somebody in the back like that. But that was so funny. She definitely has these giant audiobooks where she's just listening.
Oh yeah.
To like, 1600s, like whatever it was, like Old English, and that's the way that she talks makes me think that like she's listening to Old English all the time. Like that might just be something that explains a lot about Mallory. Like she doesn't know about Survivor because she's stuck in like the 1600s. Like she hasn't gotten to like modern pop culture yet. Like she's still kind of working her way through like the olden days.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, she was talking about the bubonic plague, remember?
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I have this theory. Maybe Mallory is secretly like a time traveler from the 1600s, trying to adjust to like modern life. And she's escaping from the bubonic plague, and she's just been thrown into like the modern day, and she knows about Julius Caesar. That's about the only pop culture reference she knows. So
yeah, I love it.
This whole Survivor thing with they're all talking about alliances and words I don't even know what they mean, because honestly, you probably doesn't understand most of the vocabulary these days.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So yeah, well, our number 3. So Mallory's reading all this old school stuff, but the person who's ranked number 3 is out here reading Huckleberry Finn, which is Mike.
Ooh, we got Mike.
Did you like my transition?
Very nice, very nice. No wonder that Mike and Mallory get along.
Yeah, so they say Sarah X tells us this week that he's her number 1. He's turning the Nick and Mallory alliance into a much larger post-merge plan, and he's still making moves. But with Nick's emergence this episode, is he becoming a second banana? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's kind of just like if you have 2 bananas on the counter, you can only eat one of them, because who is going to eat 2 bananas for breakfast? So you don't want to be the banana that's left behind.
Okay.
I don't know. That's where my mind went. That's probably not what they meant by it, but
okay.
Second banana, Mike the second banana. I want to kind of start using that. Honestly.
I know.
Calling people the second banana. Like
that's my new favorite thing.
Yeah, we just gotta start doing that now. Jack's gonna come back. He's gonna be like, you guys talked about the bubonic plague and bananas and Pokemon without me. Like, I was so busy at the market with Kat, and you didn't even tell me. I'm sorry, I didn't check my phone. My girlfriend wouldn't let me check my phone, so I just didn't have it out. Whatever.
We love a good Jack roast. Jack in the real world. But yeah, I did say Mike was my number 1. So that's kind of interesting. Everyone was talking about how you were thinking about turning on Jack, but I was out here saying a Cerulean was my number 1. So I don't know, like Ohana is maybe not as strong as we were at one point. I don't know.
Maybe did see Bree and Jack turning on their own mothers.
Yeah.
So, they voted out their own mom. An underrated story.
How original.
Mike, Nick, and Mallory have been doing a good job at keeping like a trio together. They're all together on the same tribe. I think that's been good for them. And yeah, I guess it kind of seems like you and Mike came up with this post-merge plan. Mm-hmm. I think that Mike did a good job of articulating it to Jack and getting Jack on board.
Yeah.
I think Mike's been doing a good job of being kind of like broing down with Jack and getting a beer and getting burritos and
he was good. Like, I would always I remember frantically texting him like, you gotta get on Jack's good side, gotta get on Sam's good side, and he would just very calmly execute and do it very well.
Yeah. So it seems like Jack is a fan of Mike. It's like, I don't know if Mike's just if Mike's a super mastermind or and trying to manipulate me or what, but I really do like everything that Mike's saying, and it seems like it makes sense. And, I don't know how much it does make sense for someone like Jack who has this tight Ohana family to kind of ditch it and then join with Cerulean instead. It makes sense for the context of this week, trying to survive past it. But I'm curious to see what Jack's decision is going to be at the merge. of who he's going to work with, because it makes a lot of sense for you to want to work with Mike, but I think Jack has a little bit less of reason to want to do that.
Yes, well, Jack's actually number 2 on New Hanum.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
Hashtag 2 Idol Tiggles has another really great week. Not just the finding of his second idol, but he's a part of the Ultimate Avengers Cross-Tribal Alliance. He's solidifying his bond with Maggie, and even if he gets snaked by Sam, parentheses, boo Sam, he's got a lot of people who want to have his back. I think Jack is another player who, like, the most recent person he's talked to, he just, like, likes. Like, more.
Yeah. Last episode, he's like, oh, I really, really like my stuff with Nick. This episode, like, oh, I don't know, I just really like Mike. Like, yeah, that's true. I mean, he found another idol, so that's something. Good for him.
Yeah.
He went into ninja mode.
Yeah, he went into ninja mode. He's very good at crawling under those bushes. Like, that's some commitment in that weather.
Yeah. And Abby was right looking in the same exact spot, and she did not see it. But Jack was willing to crawl underneath and was able to find it. I don't know about his decision to tell people about his idol. So at this point, Jack knows about 2 idols. Sam knows about 2 idols. Maggie knows about 1 idol.
Mm-hmm.
Something to kind of keep track of is who knows what.
Yeah.
And at this point, to be clear, it isn't really addressed in the episode, but I am aware that Jack has told Maggie about 1 idol. But Maggie is not aware that I know about an idol. And she's also not aware there's a 2nd idol.
Right.
So it's kind of there's something to keep track of. Is Jack is telling me basically everything. He kind of said in the episode he wants to have one person who can kind of like look out for his idols and what to do with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 1, we have Nick. In the absence of Kevin, who narrated most of this pre-merge, the dark Nick rises and it potentially becomes the biggest player in the game. He may have a villainous side to him, but who doesn't? And the birth of the Super Alliance with him at the helm could be the breakout post-merge moment that could catapult Nick all the way to a win. Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick had a pretty good episode.
Definitely did. He definitely did. The one little gripe I'll have with this is he said the Super Alliance with him at the helm. And I don't know if he actually had Nick commenting on this Super Alliance during the entire episode.
No, I think it was mostly
you and Mike.
Me and Mike, and then like me, you, and Jack also talked about it.
Yeah. He's definitely in a good spot right now. He's definitely in power in this tribe. And he has Mike and Mallory where he's really trusting them and they trust him. And he's also looking like in the merge he has kind of a plan. You know, it's going to depend on how serious are you, me, and Jack about this alliance. We haven't even heard my opinion on any of it yet. You know, so there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
So you just had to wait and see, I guess. But
yeah,
I think it is good for Nick that even though he's in the minority numbers wise going into the merge, it seems like he's set up pretty well to be able to still have a shot to win.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Sir Nulian.
All right. Sir Nulian. All right. So, who do you think is number 5? That's a tweet at us for who you think is number 5 on Sir Nulian. This is a tough one.
Very tough.
Believe it or not. We have number 5.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were you saying?
I was going to say something, but I don't know if it makes sense, so go ahead.
Just say it anyways, and you can cut it out.
I was going to say she may or may not have already been voted off, according to her.
Oh, yeah. I was picked second in a swap, and then Kevin voted me off. But it's fine, because Kevin got voted off instead. Don't try to play me, Kevin, because you got played by other people.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, we have Lucy. Lucy is woke. Is she woke? Maybe more like sleep paralysis. She's telling everyone she wants to work with Old Cerulean, aka Blue Team, people at the merge, and basically doing everything you shouldn't when you're already at the bottom.
Yeah. I saw a comment. It was like, that was the worst move I've seen in Survivor history by Lucy.
Yeah, it was definitely not great. And I think that she survived mainly due to the fact, not because of she was working so hard in trying to convince people that she was a good asset, as much as we were like, Lucy is so out of it that we should keep her because we're not threatened by her at all. And I don't think that was a conscious strategy. I don't think she was doing that on purpose. I don't think she was trying to look like she didn't know what was going on. In order, if that was her strategy, I'm going to play dumb to keep me around. That would be brilliant. I don't think she was doing that. I think that she was trying very hard. And then while she was trying very hard, we realized she doesn't really know what's going on. Let's keep her around. So, yeah, again, I think we said it before, Sarah, that like the merge is a place for people to start fresh. I think Lucy has an opportunity to do that also with the merge.
Yeah.
Just like we said the same thing with Chidi. We said kind of a similar thing with Bree. Yeah, as things get more and more paranoia.
Yeah.
What's she gonna do? All right. Number 4 is Abby. She gave up on the immunity challenge because she trusts Sam so much. In parentheses, ask Jack how that's working for him. With 3 emoji snakes.
Oh.
And she gave out the clue instead of finding the idol herself. She feels too comfortable for somebody on the outside of basically everything, and that could cost her.
Yeah. I think her and Bree both maybe don't really know their spot on Ohana that well.
Yeah. I think that maybe I didn't really notice this before. Maybe, she just feels too comfortable because like she shouldn't have shared that clue. Maybe Nick was right. Nick didn't share it. And did you see people on Cerulean saying that Nick is such a shady person for not sharing the clue right away?
No.
Abby was so concerned with that. She's like, I need to share it with everybody. But she probably could have kept it to herself, just like Nick did.
Probably because you kept texting her.
That's true. She probably should have not listened to me. Yeah. I actually, though, it was interesting. I was listening to the pre-merge podcast the other day, and people were talking about their winner picks. And a lot of people were actually saying that they think that Abby has a chance to be kind of a dark horse candidate because she is someone who is like pretty connected on both tribes. As far as like she's just kind of a swing vote and people are kind of vying for her attention. I think that she is someone that's really worked her way off the bottom from the first episode of the season where she was almost voted off.
Okay. Now she's at the point. We'll see. I think since she blindsided Kevin with us and essentially picked Ohana that week, I don't know, because like even though she did that, I still feel like she's on the bottom of Mass.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just to reiterate, the Mass Alliance is Maggie, Abby, Sam, and Sarah. So Abby does feel secure and like, hey, at the merge, I have this 4-person alliance within the Ohana Alliance. So I guess it makes sense why she feels secure, but I don't think maybe she doesn't realize that, hey, there are people in Ohana talking to people in Cerulean.
Yeah.
I don't think she really knows that's going on, just like Bree maybe isn't super aware of that either.
Exactly. I agree that she should be above Lucy and other Cerulean players, but I think she's still definitely on the bottom of Ohana.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has potential though, for sure. Like she's playing.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, number 3 is Maggie. The writing's on the wall for Maggie, literally. She has another strong week, faking messages from Sarah A. She's a momposter, like imposter, never mind. Yeah, momposter, stretching it.
I like it.
Okay. Sarah likes it. There we go. And Jack tells her about his idol, even over Sarah X, which is a clear sign he wants to work with her moving forward. But she's not invited to the Super Alliance, and she may be too big of a character for anyone to let her sneak too far into the game.
That's a good assessment, I think. Yeah, Jack obviously wants to keep her around. But I don't know how some of the Cerulean people feel about her, which with like the merge coming up, that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah.
But I think like she's getting along pretty well with like Ohana people, like Bree and her worked out that whole fake Sarah A thing. So like, and Bree like hated Maggie at first.
Maggie definitely has won a lot of people over. She kind of won over Bailey this episode. To the extent where Bailey got voted off, she was like, no hard feelings, like, it's fine, they were nice, and blah, blah, blah. Like, exactly. Maggie has definitely won people over.
Yeah, so even though maybe some Cerulean people, like Mike, might not necessarily like her now, it's like she's never been on a tribe with them yet. So maybe once she is on a tribe, she'll be able to win them over, too.
Yeah, it does seem like Mike and Lucy are not a huge fan of Maggie. I think it makes sense that Maggie is below me and you, but ahead of Abby and Lucy. Definitely kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
Which brings us to number 2, which is
number
Sam.
2.
Spelled
with
a snake emoji instead of an S. So, how about that? Let's be
clear.
clear.
Sam had emojis.
A lot of snake emojis. Hey, I am not even in the raw school business, so I shouldn't have the snake. Sarah's in the raw school business, but I haven't done anything wrong yet. So hey, let's be clear. Sam had another good week. He controls the vote. He wins the immunity challenge even while checking his phone. Badass. And Jack tells him about his idol and even seems willing to use it for him if he needs it. But unfortunately, Keep Your Torchlit has found his Yoko, and it's Sam who seems ready to make a move against Jack, thus derailing my hopes for a Tiggles and the Tall Guys sequel. The real question is, if he tries to pull in Lucy and Mallory, does he have the numbers? Side note, very cool shot of Cooper putting the necklace on Sam. The one thing George's near impeccable host game is missing. Whoa. We have a George mention. Whoa. Yeah.
George.
So, I don't know what Yoko means. Do you know what that means?
I think it's a reference to maybe like some show that I don't watch.
Probably some sort of Pokemon reference that Jack would know, but whatever.
That's why we need Jack. We only have Jack in our group for these references, these nerdy references. I think, is it Star Wars?
Oh, wait.
Is it Star Wars?
No, it's not No, it's not Star Wars.
There's someone named Yoko and Okay.
I wouldn't know what that is. I think it's Yoda.
Okay.
No, it's not Star Wars. I would know. That's like the one thing I'm pretty nerdy about.
Hey, DM us what that means.
Yeah, we just want you to be basically like sending us all kinds of things to our Twitter account this week.
We just want attention, okay?
Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, I think I had a good week. I won immunity, and I found out the existence of the second immunity idol. So I feel pretty good. I remember feeling pretty good after this week because I'm like, hey, I have a plan moving forward. I remember one of my main reasons for keeping Lucy around was like, I feel like I kind of want Lucy to work as a free agent in case I need her number for later. So I felt like I'd accomplished that. I'd want immunity. I know where both of the idols are. And I'm the only other person that knows where both the idols are. So I felt pretty good. The one thing I maybe wasn't super aware of was this whole Super Alliance thing, but I already had heard some little rumblings from Jack and Sarah about it. So I felt like I was pretty in the know. Obviously, I don't know about the Sarah-Mike alliance.
In general, though, I think you, like, the information in the game always seems to be getting to you somehow. So, like, you have good awareness of pretty much everything that's happening, which is good.
It's good to have information. Absolutely.
Yes. And, the Mike thing's not really, because, like, I feel like nobody knows about it, so it's not like you're behind other people in that information.
Yeah, that's true. So. There is one person that I am behind as far as that information. That is Sarah X, number 1 on our list. Sarah has a solid personal connection with almost every player in the game on both sides. She's in the Super Alliance. She's got to deal with Mike. She got the Cupcake people. She got Bree Z. She got a potential Girls Alliance. She is the real social winner of Survivor. Rip Kevin and Bailey.
Whoa. Yeah. I'm honored. I don't think have I been won yet on their little rankings? I don't know if I have been.
I don't know. You might have won. Maybe in the first episode you were. But yeah, there you go. Made your way back up to number 1 again. I think that is definitely fair. Obviously, you don't know about the idol stuff, but I think you make up for it by having this alliance with Mike. You're kind of helping spearhead this Super Alliance.
And also, Jack mentions that he would play it for me as well.
Yeah. So even if Jack isn't telling you about the idol, he's not going to use it against you. And then I think that you also have the connection with Bree. The connection with Bree and Mike are definitely good because it seems like on both tribes. I think that when you're comparing me and you right now, I think that I definitely had a better week as far as like the immunities and idol thing. But you have more connections on the other tribe than I do, where I really only have a connection with Jack.
Okay, yeah.
And you seem to have a connection with Jack and Bree and Mike.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see. It seems so. I think that comparing the two of us on this tribe, we're pretty even. I have more of a connection with Abby. You have more of a connection with Bree. I think both of us kind of had a connection with Maggie. And then both of us have kind of connection with Lucy. But you have this connection with Mike, and you're helping direct the Super Alliance.
Right.
Whereas I'm included in this alliance, but I'm not really a driver for it.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see, I think the two of us are pretty evenly matched. I think you can edge me out due to those connections on the other tribe.
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe, like, I'm slightly less threatening than you, because you're, like, winning challenges. Winning challenges is good, but then it could also be like, oh no.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember last episode, Kevin had mentioned me being a physical threat later on. So, yeah, I didn't need immunity in this episode. Like, I really didn't need it. I did need to beat Bailey, but I didn't really need immunity. So, it's always a question of, do you win immunity if you don't need to? I don't know.
Oh.
But I think that you're someone that's still a physical player, but isn't necessarily, like, putting that target in your back.
Okay. We'll see how it works out for me in the next episode.
We will.
Yeah.
And also, oh my gosh.
That was
I don't know how this is almost an hour. That's insane. Oh my goodness.
I know. When I'm editing it,
we really had a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Remember to tweet at us because we want your tweets.
Yeah, tell us which Pokemon Mallory is. And also tell us
what Yoko is.
What Yoko is. Definitely stay tuned for next week. We'll have a great social media segment coming for you. So keep your ears peeled for that.
Well, you're
making that promise now.